Hi friends! Today I am going to show you guys how I cut my mini sticker sheets on the Cricut using both Cricut's Design Space and Adobe Illustrator. I know I've done this before on this channel, but I kind of want to go a little bit more in depth in case anyone is interested in how I actually do it. Maybe I'll talk about it this time instead of writing it out, because I know Adobe Illustrator is super intimidating, but it's definitely worth knowing. I prefer Illustrator over Photoshop, to be honest, and I tend to work in Illustrator way more on a day-to-day basis. But I personally like making sure that my cuts are a little more precise. I like to size things. I'm a little more of a perfectionist that way. But I will show you guys how I will lay it out. I definitely want to take this Mexico travel print that I did after my husband and I came back from our honeymoon from Mexico. It was his first time going outside of the country, and I went to Mexico once a year when I was a little girl all the way through high school. So it was a really great experience, and I kind of just wanted to put all of our experiences in a little print, and we can have it displayed right when you walk into our apartment. And this is what I'm going to show you. So I kind of want to make this into a sticker sheet to share the joy that is Mexico. Hopefully you guys will like it, and hopefully you guys will learn something from this process. I definitely would like to answer any questions, or if you guys have any suggestions for what you guys would like to see in a sticker sheet, please let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. I really appreciate all you guys watching me. And if you guys ever have any questions, just ask away. I also have a Twitch account, so whenever I live stream, I tend to go to Twitch and I'll live stream for 2 hours, typically 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So go ahead, if you can, just follow me on Twitch and you'll get notified when I go live. I also tell all my Instagram followers when I do go live. Usually it's a Sunday or Saturday, depending on how busy the day was. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, please do.
So I have Illustrator up, and what I do is I drop in my Photoshop file in. On the left hand side, you can kind of see more or less how things are laid out in the final sticker sheet. You can see in these outline paths that I do have something there. And then on the right hand side, I have just my drawing, unadulterated, just as is. So I'm going to kind of take you step by step how I do this. In my Illustrator file, I try to make sure I layer everything. So I have my cutter on one layer, and this is basically what I use to trick Cricut into cutting, so that after the fact I can just cut from the bottom corners to actually create the final sticker sheet. And then I have a gray line down the middle to just kind of tell me oh, this is where the sticker sheet ends for both. And it's a nice hack for me, because I don't really know how to cut these out fully on the Cricut yet. Something I gotta research and learn to do. So after my cutter is done, I have a specific layer for my text, and this is for anything that I don't want the Cricut to cut, so that when I export this PNG, I won't have any other random stuff that the Cricut's going to think they're going to cut. It's going to cut. And usually the text is just let's travel to Mexico, and my logo, so I can just easily turn off the visibility by clicking on this eyeball. So it's really nice, and I can always just copy this, the logo and the list travel to from a different file, and it doesn't, it's just easy peasy. So, but with the artwork, what I actually do is that I know that as a sticker sheet, all this stuff is just super close together, right? So while I have the basic layout there, I need to go in and kind of space everything out. So what I like to do is for each icon, I outline the shape. So I'm going to go with my Mexico flag, and it's not going to be perfect. So I have my very rough outline done, and you can tell that it's done. I can change the stroke color real quick. Um, since the box is red, that is telling me that I actually have it on the wrong layer. So I'm gonna Command X to cut. Um, on the PC, it's Control X, and I'm gonna select my actual artwork layer and Command F or Control F on PC to paste in place and to paste in front. So I know this is the topmost path in my layer, and you can see it's like right there. And that's super important because we're going to make clipping paths. And so kind of like in Photoshop when you can make clipping masks, in Illustrator you can do clipping paths. And so I can have my Photoshop file take the form of this path. But before I do that, I know I don't want the Cricut to cut this sticker all the way to the edge for a couple of reasons. One, you can't expect your Cricut to be super precise in cutting. So if it's off by just a little bit, everyone will like notice. So I just kind of want to give a white border to give some tolerance for the cutting. And also I think a white border will look nicer. So with my path, I'm actually going to go to Object, all the way down to Path, and Offset Path. And I'm kind of a little more specific with my measurements. And so I'm going to give this like a 2mm tolerance. And so you'll see like the path is actually expanded, which is exactly what I want. I'll have that white border. This is how I want the final sticker to look. And so I'll just hit OK. And this is like a very neat tool in Illustrator. Like I just recently discovered this within the last few months and have been using it all the time. So now that I have my offset path selected, I just want to make sure it's the topmost path in the artwork layer. And so I just moved it up. I'm selecting this. I'm also gonna actually remove the stroke on this because we don't need them anymore. Select this path. I'll select the outermost path, and then I'm gonna select my image file. And so we're gonna make our clipping path by pressing Command 7 or Control 7 on PC. And so you see, there's a sticker. It can get a little nitty gritty with making all the clipping paths, but in Illustrator, it's a vector-based program. You're going to be doing paths anyway, so this is just one way to kind of get used to making paths. So yeah, I did this for all the other stickers, and you can tell all of the white borders, that's where what the final stickers are going to look like. Their shape and all look like there's enough room and enough space, and it's wonderful and laid out. So I'm actually gonna take off this layer, and I'm gonna take off the stroke. So yeah, next is I'm just gonna like export this entire thing. So I just turned on my Let's Travel and Nava and Snow logo on this side, and then I have my entire sticker sheet laid out for Cricut's design space. And so with this text layer, I'm gonna turn that off. I'm also gonna turn off the stroke for these guys and export this as a PNG. And I'm going to use my artboards, and I want to make sure that the background color is transparent. Cricut's design space is going to register all these shapes as their own cut file. So let me just turn this back on and save. So I actually have it already in Design Space. With PNGs, you're going to want to make sure you size it to your artboard. I know my size, and so I kind of just adjust it up here in the size department, and the operation is print and cut. So it all looks nice. We're going to go ahead and make it. And like with the print and cut, the Cricut has a black border, and this kind of tells the actual Cricut, like, this is your constraints. You know to cut within this black box. And so it's going to be blah, 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 8.5 by 11. I don't want to mirror. That's important. Continue. And I want to make sure before I do anything, I want to send to printer. So I want to send to printer. I want to make sure that my bleed is off. That's important. And that my system dialog is on. And I'm going to hit print. And sometimes you're just going to have to like move the Cricut Design Space to see your print dialog box. It's so sneaky. And then I want to save this as a PDF before doing anything else. And yes, it's going to be untitled. I have a lot of untitled here. Yeah, let's replace it. And now I'm actually going to go ahead and open this in Illustrator once again. Okay, I opened it in Illustrator, and so you can kind of see a little bit of where the cuts are going to be. Now, here is the fun part. I'm actually going to take my current sheet here with my Let's Travel To and my Novice No logo and this beautiful gray cutter line. I'm going to copy this into this untitled PDF. And I do this so that I can actually have some text show through without it being an actual sticker. So I'm going to actually group it right now. And I'm just going to try and line up as best as I can. Okay, I have it all nice and lined up, and just for extra measure, I am going to make a white box and I'm going to hide it underneath my overlaid sticker sheet, so it'll look kind of like this compared to this. All right, I'm going to save this, and I'm actually going to print directly from Illustrator, and this way I can use my Illustrator's printing color space and not use Design Spaces. So once that's printed, print. I go back to my Design Space, and I have to make sure that Iron On is on. It's selected. Sometimes Iron On plus 2, you'll have to like experiment, and I have to make sure that mirror is actually turned off because I'm kind of hacking this a little bit. And after that, you just press go.
So, the art tip of the day is limiting the colors in your palette. So, you'll notice in my Mexico print, I have I'm mainly focused on greens and oranges and yellows, and I use like maybe a hot pink here and a blue there for some extra contrast. But overall, I wanted the entire scene to look warm and floral and verdant because that's what Mexico is. It's like all like, and there are mountains and like the sun, desert. It's like all kinds of like emits so many moods. And so you'll notice that I don't even use the color purple within the drawings. So if anything, just remember to have a more impactful palette. Just kind of remove a color from the rainbow. So like I use everything else except for purple. So I use like yellows and pinks, not red, but pinks, good enough. So what are these? I'm sorry. So I used, hot pink for red. I used oranges. I used yellows. I used greens. I used one blue, but I didn't use purple. So it's always just like, that's just a good tip, is to just kind of like, what color of the rainbow should I not put in my palette? It'll just, your drawing will come out stronger and more thematic and even dramatic. So that's the art tip of the day. So I went ahead and printed out like packaging for it, and I like did a packing sample for when I decided to do product photography for it. And I noticed that I may have like accidentally like ruined one of the sheets. I don't know if you can tell, but there's a crinkle in the paper. So that's fine because I can just use this for more product photography. Yeah, just like kind of like use this as my staging sticker sheet, and that way I don't have to, this doesn't go to waste, But here it is. I think it came out super cute. I think I might have to calibrate my Cricut at some point because it's cutting off a little bit, but you're supposed to do that from time to time, and I think it's about time for my Cricut to do it. So, but I think it came out really cute. I love to use vellum paper as my packaging so that some of the print can come through, or some of the designs, and yeah, I love how it came out, and I can't wait to put it on my Etsy. Hopefully people are excited to see it and to buy it. I know I've sold my Paris sticker sheet a couple of times, and so eventually I want to do like a whole travel series, and maybe further down the road just kind of like revisit old drawings and kind of just like update them to be more trendy. But for now I'm just kind of like building a whole just like sticker sheet collection, And right now traveling is such a desire. So it helps to just be like, these are the places I want to go, and I'm just going to draw them as kind of like an escape. So, yeah, I'll be doing some more in the future. And if you guys want to see a specific city or a country, just let me know. Drop it down in the comments. And I look forward to hearing your guys' suggestions. Until next time, bye, friends.